This is the Python Basics course, and in this lesson I'm going to show you how to write records onto a CSV file or TXT file. So the way to do it, so we've already done some of this in the previous lesson. So here I've imported OS because I want to check if the file is already there, so I need the library OS for operating system. I create a file name, so I equate the variable file name to the full file path and file name of the new file that I want to create. I then use os.path exists with file name, and I say if the file path is already, or the file is already on that path, then I'm going to print file exist. Otherwise I'm going to print that the file does not exist. So I just wanted to point out we are going to create a file to which I can then write records. So if I open that file, I'm going to use the access mode W. So here I've shown you. If I go open file name with the access mode W, I will then open the file name, the file, with the access mode write only, which means that I cannot read the records that's currently in the file. I cannot append to the bottom. I can only write new records. And the thing about the W is that the computer will see if that file is already there. If it's already there, if you already have such a file by that file name, the computer will empty out all its records, and you will have no more records in that file left. But you can now write new records into the file. If the file name does not exist, in other words, if the file name is not on the system yet, then the computer, the W, will then create the file on this path. It will create this file on that path as specified when you do this open. So the open will either create a new file, or it will open an existing file and blank all its records, empty out all its records, which will then have the file open, and you can then write new records on the file. So I'm just going to show you. If I open the file with W, I can now use myFile.write, and the write command will put this new record onto that file. And then I must remember, don't forget to close your file, because otherwise you will lose the records. So when you open the file with W, the computer will either create a new file if it's not already in existence, but if it's already in existence, it empties it out. You then write new records into it and then close the file. Once you have written new records, you can then, of course, after you've closed the file, do what we've done in the previous lesson. Open the file with read-only, and read-only will then iterate. It will open your file, and you can then iterate all the lines to see if the lines that you've just written is already there. So if I click the run button, the computer will now open the file. The file is not there. It created a new file, and then it printed for me. This line here prints for me the file that I've written to the file. This line here, you will not see any output to the console, because when I write here, I'm not writing to the console, I'm writing to the file. So I write to the file, the computer will not show me on the console what is done. He will just write it to the file. I close the file. I then have to reopen that file to read it. I reopen it with read-only mode, and I then iterate over all its records, print them one by one, and close it again to establish if the written records are there or not. And that's all. You see, it's very simple.